Earthquake and fault. Read an article. 5.3 magnitude quake hits Luzon, Philippines. An earthquake with a magnitude of 5.3 jolted Luzon of the Philippines on Sunday morning, the U.S. Geological Survey said. The epicenter, with a depth of 86.86 km, was initially determined to be at 14.0476 degrees north latitude and 120.525 degrees east longitude. The three widely felt earthquakes shook the Philippines today, but it's unclear if they trigger each other. The earthquake, which struck at 3:18 a.m. Local time on Sunday, was centered in the sea about 31 kilometers or 20 miles northeast of Lubang Island, or 89 kilometers 55 miles west of Calamba, and 65 kilometers 41 miles southwest of Balanga. The Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology of PHIVOLCS said that the quake measured 5.5 and struck at the depth of 85 kilometers or 53 miles, which is relatively deep. There is no threat of a tsunami, but aftershocks are likely according to PHIVOLCS. Shaking from the earthquake was felt across the region, including in Manila and Quezon City, where some said that tremors were strong enough to wake them. There were no immediate reports of damage or casualties, so the Philippines is on the so-called Pacific Ring of Fire, an arc of fault lines circling in the Pacific Basin, which are prone to frequent and large earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions also occur frequently in the region. So the sources of this article is the Philippine Daily Inquirer, Asian News Network on May 16, 2020. Earthquakes. An earthquake is a large vibrations that move through rock on other earth materials, and it's also a movement of the ground that occurs when rocks inside the earth pass their elastic limit, break suddenly, and experience elastic rebound. Magnitude, energy, and intensity. Magnitude 1 not felt, magnitude 2 and 3 weak, magnitude 3 light, and magnitude 5 moderate. Okay, in magnitude 6 that is very strong, 7 very strong, and 8 severe, and 9 violent, and number 10 extreme. So in this chart you would see the different effects of every magnitude or intensity rather that would happen in a specific area. So please check it out, the magnitude from 1 to 10. Terms related to earthquake. Focus, hypocenter. Focus is the point on the fault where a rupture occurs and the location from which seismic waves are released. Epicenter. Epicenter is the point on the Earth's surface that is directly above the focus and the point where an earthquake or underground explosions originates. Some major causes of earthquakes and basic of its causes are surface causes, volcanic causes, and tectonic causes. Surface cause is a great explosion, landslides, slips on steep coast, dashing of the seas wave, avalanches, railway trains, heavy trucks. Some large engineering projects cause minor tremors. One of them and man-made or other are natural. Okay, next is volcanic cause. When we say volcanic cause, it is an eruption produced earthquakes. So earthquakes may precede, accompany, and frequently follow volcanic eruptions, and they are caused by sudden displacement of lava within or beneath the earth crust. So there are two general categories of earthquakes that can occur at a volcano. First, we have volcanic tectonic earthquakes, and the second is the long period earthquakes. What causes tectonic plates to move? Okay, tectonic causes is the structural disturbances resolving in the parts of the lithosphere in the main cause of this type of earthquake. So most of the disastrous earthquakes belong to this category and occur in the areas of great faults and fractures, saddened, yielding rather to strain produced on the rocks of accumulating stress causes displacement, especially along old fault zones known as the Great Transform Faults. So the movements in the tectonic would be the mantle cause tectonic plates to move. Surface wave. Surface wave travels parallel to the Earth's surface, and these waves are slowest and most damaging. So surface waves are divided into following types: the long wave and the Rayleigh waves. Seismometers, the measurement of an earthquake, or when we say seismometers, these are called as instruments that measure motion of the ground, including those of seismic waves generated by an earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and other seismic sources. Seismometers may be deployed at Earth's surface, in the shallow vaults, in the boreholes, or underwater. Earthquake prediction. Earthquake prediction is usually defined as the specification of the time, location, and magnitude of a future earthquake within the stated limits. But some evidences of a coming earthquake are following. First, we have unusual animal behavior, and the second is the water level in wells, large scale of fluctuation of oil flow from the oil wells, for shocks or minor shocks before major earthquake, and the temperature change, and we have also uplifting of Earth's surface and change in seismic wave velocity. Effect of an earthquake. First, we have loss of life and property. Second, damage to transport system, example roads, railways, highways, airports, or marine. Damage to infrastructure, chances of floods, develop rocks in dams, chances of fire short circuit, communications such as telephone, wires, and damages, water pipes, sewers are disrupted, economic activities like agriculture, industry, trade, and transport are severely affected. Okay, here are example of tremendous effect that would happen if your area are caused by an earthquake. First, you will experience a huge landslide, and you also experience rather shaking and ground rupture. Then you will experience also fire and soil liquefaction, and then you also experience a flood and tsunami. Okay, what is fault? A fault class is a fractured or zone of fractures between two blocks of rock. Faults allow the blocks to move relative to each other. So this movement may occur rapidly in the form of an earthquake, or maybe occur slowly in the form of creep. So fault may range in length from a few millimeters to thousands of kilometers. So most fault produce repeated displacement over geologic time. How do faults produce quakes? Okay, it produces an energy from inside the earth, make the ground move. So there is no movement, friction right away because of the friction. So instead, friction held the rocks together, and once of the friction is overcome, the ground will move and the quake will occur. So take note, every time a fault slips or moves, the earth is quaking or quakes. Types of fault. Okay, we have normal fault, a deep sleeve fault in which the block above the fault has moved downward relative to the block below. So this type of faulting occurs in response to extensions. So it occurs when the hanging wall moves. And then we have second types of faults, reversed fault. Okay, a deep sleeve fault in which the upper block above the fault line moves up and over the lower block. This type of faulting is common in areas of compression. Okay, when the deep angle is shallow, a reverse fault is often described as a thrust fault. So of course, where the hanging wall moves up or thrust over the foot wall. Another types of fault is strike-slip fault, a fault in which the two blocks slide past one another. The San Andreas fault is an example of the right lateral fault. Okay. Next, there are two types of strike-slip fault. Okay, first we have a left lateral strike-slip fault. So if you were to stand on the fault and look along its length, this is a type of strike-slip fault where the left block moves toward you and the right block moves away. And then the second types of strike-slip fault is a right lateral strike slip fault. So if you were to stand on the fault and look along its length, this is a type of strike slip fault where the right block moves toward you and the left block moves away. What are the type of stresses in the Earth's crust? The Earth has three layers, okay? The crust and the mantle and the core. The Earth crust is like the shell of an egg. It is the thinnest of the Earth layers. So the crust is broken into several parts known as continental plates. So when the plates are pulled or pushed together, it will occur stress. Okay, we have four types of stresses affect the Earth's crust. Okay, first, compression is a type of stress that causes the rocks to push or squeeze against one another. It targets the center of the rock and can cause either horizontal or vertical orientation. In horizontal compression stress, the crust can thicken or shorten rather. In a vertical compression stress, the crust can thin out or break off, so the force of compressions can push rocks together or cause the edges of each plate colliding to rise. Some mountains are a result of high impact compression stress caused when two plates collided. Okay, another types of stresses affect the earth crust is tension. Okay, tension is the opposite of the compression. While compression forces the rocks and crust to collide and move together, tension forces the rocks to pull apart, and tension can happen in two ways. Okay, two separate plates can move and a way around from each other, or the ends of one plate can move in a different direction. So some scientists think tension stress caused the ancient massive and continent Pangea to break off into the seven continents that we have today. Okay, another stress affect the earth crust is shear stress. Shear stress occurs the force of the stress pushes some of the crust in different directions. So when this happens, a large part of the crust can break up, which makes the plate's size smaller. So shear stress usually happens when two plates rub against each other as they move in opposite directions. So the friction of a shear stress at the edges of the plate can cause an earthquake. Another type of stress affect the earthquakes is confining pressure, okay, or confining stress. So when stress is applied to all sides of the crust, confining stress occurs. So when this happens, the crust compact, which makes it to look smaller. If the stress is too much for the crust to handle, the crust can fracture from the inside. So this causes the crust weight to decrease, but crust shape remains the same. Because of this type of stress can hollow out the inside of the crust, and confining rather stress can cause sinkholes in the earth. Thank you and thank you.